Hey you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back. In this video, I am tackling week 2 in my 2020 Project Life album. Feels really good to jump back into this project. So on my desk here, what you're seeing is Ali Edwards' list story kit. And I thought that this week 2 would be a great time to use the list story kit because I didn't have a ton of stories to tell from this week because I was sick. And I was trying to actually figure out if I just wanted to do one side of the page protector and just say I was sick, I didn't do anything else, and maybe just do like one large photo. But I actually thought it would be really cool to take this list kit and tell stories from the week in a list format. So that is what I did. And I'm going to share with you as I go along how I ended up doing that. All right. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up this photo that I enlarged, and I actually printed it on 4 5x7 pieces of photo paper. And the reason why I did that is because, well, there's 2 reasons why I did that. One, because I was having some issues with my larger format printer, and so I couldn't just print an 8x12. I needed to either send it away, which I didn't want to do because I wanted to get this done, or I could just put it into pieces, 4 different pieces, and I could print it out. Now, the reason why I didn't actually print it on a 4x6 piece of paper is because when you print on a 4x6 and you want it to be borderless, which means there's no border, there's no white border around the photo, it will enlarge the photo. So if you can see that photo of me to the left of my hand, you can see my lips are right on the edge. Now, if I was printing that on a 4x6 piece of paper, it would enlarge the photo. So I'd have to cut off some of my face there, and it wouldn't match up with the photo below it because that would also be expanded past the photo paper as well. So my big idea was I have some 5x7 pieces of photo paper, and why don't I just print the 4x6s on the 5x7, and then it wouldn't enlarge and it would be a true 4x6 picture. Well, the problem with that is when I actually went to print out the photos, and I did not realize this, but when I actually went to print it out, it printed out larger. So I think my settings must have been wrong. I thought that I did it right. I thought I clicked on borders, but I must have clicked on borderless because it actually enlarged my photo instead of making it a true 4x6. So anyways, hopefully you are following along with me, but that is the reason why I ended up doing it in 4 different pieces. And it's a really great tip as well for those of you that don't have a large format printer. You can just go ahead and crop your photo into pieces, and then you can print them out on a smaller size piece of paper like a 4x6 or a 5x7. So that's also something you can do. All right, so the other photos that I have here, there's just a couple photos that I took that week. And one of them was my kids shoveling the snow. I think it snowed almost every day, and my kids would come home from school and they would shovel the driveway, which was awesome because our driveway is on a hill. And so it was really nice and really generous of them because I'm sure that they were super tired from their day. But they really took care of me. Adam was out of town for all of it, which was kind of nice because then I didn't have to feel bad, coughing on him all night, but I didn't have his help. But like I said, fortunately, I did have my kids' help, and I was so grateful for that. All right, so now that I've got my photos done, the next piece was actually telling my stories with the prompts. So I don't know if you saw, but I was holding up at the very beginning. It was a sticker sheet that had these word phrases on there, and they were basically prompts. And when I looked at those, I thought this would be awesome. I can use these prompts and I can do a list of 5 things based on those prompts. So some of the prompts I used are a few of my favorite things, crossing things off my list, at the top of my list, these happy moments, anything is possible, writing it down so I remember, and these moments were the best. So I used those prompts. I did a list of 5 things that would go along with each prompt based on what happened during the week. So this is all just based on the week. It's not like a few of my favorite things the last month. It was like a few of my favorite things the last 7 days. And the numbers that you're seeing here, I did all this digitally in Photoshop, by the way. And the numbers I'm using here came from a stamp set that came in the kit. It's a small 3x4 stamp set. And I actually probably could have used the actual stamps, because when I'm looking back at these, I realize that I wish the numbers were just a little bit bigger. You know, when you're doing it digitally and you're looking at it up close, it looks kind of big, but when it actually printed, it was a little bit smaller than I thought. So I would definitely change that. So if you guys are doing this, maybe you might want to make those numbers a little bit larger. And the reason why I didn't actually use the stickers is because some of the stickers were too wide to fit on one of the 3x4 cards. So that's why I went ahead and did that digitally as well. So let me just talk you through some of the things that I did while you can see that I'm putting my cards together. I'm using some washi tape to adhere the 3x4 pieces together so that it will be one 4x6 piece. I think that it fits into the folders a little bit better and they don't move around, so I prefer to do that. All right, so the one that I'm working on right now, the one at the top, it says a few of my favorite things, and some of those during the week was listening to books. So like I mentioned, my sinuses were so bad that I was only able to listen to books instead of read. My cozy soft blanket, Lola keeping me company. Even though she was snoring, I really loved having her company because I felt really alone. You know, my kids would come home, but I didn't really want them hanging out with me because I was sick. I did not want them to get sick. They have competitions coming up. So I was pretty alone. Cloudy skies. The cloudy skies kept my room darker, so I really appreciated that. And then having some friends reach out to see if I needed anything, which I didn't because my girls totally took care of me. All right, right now you're seeing me kind of go through the chipboard and, you know, just put little bits and pieces around that I think would, I was trying to add some more color, and you'll see that coming up with these numbers. These are a dimensional number set, and I liked the dimension of it. It wasn't as thick as chipboard. It was a little bit thinner, and I really liked them. I hope that they will do more embellishments like this, but I thought that adding the numbers down the side would just be a nice added touch and add some color to this week and this big black and white photo. All right, so the next prompt I did was crossing it off my list, and this one is where I took the books that I read. So I did screenshots. So I did photos of the books that I listened to, and I put that there on that 3x4 card. And you can see that I also added that green check mark. So that's what I did for that prompt. The next one that says at the top of my list, these are the things that were kind of at the top of my list while I was sick. And it includes things like taking it slow, not trying to, jump in too quickly. I was in bed for a good 4 or 5 days, and towards the, like Saturday and Sunday, I started feeling a little bit better, but I didn't want to like jump in and start doing stuff because everyone told me when I mentioned that I was sick on Instagram, everyone was like, oh my gosh, this takes a couple weeks to go through your system. And it really did. It took me a good 2 full weeks to feel normal again and sound normal again. So that was one of the things at the top of my list. The next one was to have the lozenges available to me at my bedside because I had a wicked sore throat as well. And another one was not to be afraid to take decongestants. I hate taking medication, but this was really helpful to take these decongestants. Even though it did not take away my pain, I felt like it did help. And then thank the girls for their help. So something to have on the top of my list. The next prompt was these happy moments. So these happy moments are, remember, this is just during the week, these happy moments. So watching the snowfall. So from my bedroom, I could just see the snow falling. It was very soft and it was really, really pretty. Huge flakes. It was just gorgeous. The next one, the girls stepped up and helped me, so they would get me takeout. They would, like I said, do the driveway. They would get something at the store if I needed it. Just super, super helpful. I had nothing on my list, nothing concrete on my list on my schedule, I should say, that I had to cancel. So that was really nice. Adam was in Seattle, like I mentioned, so I didn't have to wake him up, keep him up with my coughing. Then Tess got us ramen, so I wanted to add that because that was definitely a happy moment from the week. The next prompt, and this prompt is the one that I used with the photo of Ali Edwards' design team. So you can see that there at the bottom, kind of at the left of where I'm working. So that photo was on Instagram, and I used the prompt, anything is possible. And I just kind of talked about, I basically said what I said on Instagram, which is just feeling super grateful for this opportunity to be able to work with these women and to be able to work with Ali and her team and their products. And anyway, so that's kind of what I was talking about there. Let's see. The next prompt was writing it down so I remember. And these were the things, when you're like sick in bed and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to do this and I got to do this and I got to do this. So those are the things that I was writing it down. For instance, I wrote down I wanted to try a new recipe for the cauliflower pizza crust. So I saw that on Instagram. And I needed to fix Megan's white cheer bow. Ask Tess to pick up Adam from the airport, send Christmas thank yous, and package up some birthday gifts for Sunday. So those are the things that I did not want to forget. And then the last one was a story that said these moments were the best. And this story is actually the bottom right photo of my daughter and her friend. They were at the movies. There was actually 3 of them, but they're not all pictured. And they went to see Little Women, and she cried her way through it. And I just wrote a little bit story about that, kind of relating what she had told me about it. But I love that she went and that she loved the movie. I told her to read the book and she said no way, because she was not thrilled about how it ended. Anyway, and then the one thing that I will mention is the "you can do this." That was also a prompt, and I decided to make it into a card. All right, you guys, so that is how I used the list kit and made it work to tell several different stories in list version about my week. And I actually really love how it turned out. I thought that it was a fun change to just writing all of my stories in paragraph form. So maybe this is something you guys can give a try, especially if you have a slower week. All right, you guys, we will see you in the next one. Bye.